Based on the Green New Deal, remember they started at 12 years. You only have about 7 years left. I don't think anybody's too worried, right? You could worry about nuclear warming, but you can't worry about the global warming. The global warming, they said the other day, I heard somebody, that the oceans are going to rise 1/8 of an inch over the next 300 years. We have bigger problems than that. We'll have a little bit more beachfront property. That's not the worst thing in the world.
Okay, if you heard that scientists have been saying that over the next two and a half centuries, the oceans would rise by 1/8 of an inch. And if you thought, wait, that can't be right. Well, I Googled it. That's not an honest reflection of what scientists say. They say that the ocean could rise 26 feet by 2300, a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch, just to be clear. I mean, let's be doubly clear. He doesn't give a damn. He ain't gonna last that long. I don't think he's gonna last out the decade, but yeah, no, so he doesn't care. He's convinced a lot of people to not care. It'll be more beachfront property, says the guy who can afford to move at a moment's notice to anywhere he wants for the hundreds of millions of people around the globe whose entire life will be destroyed as a result of the thing that he is mocking. It'll be serious for them, but some of them are having fun with it. Now, a lot of conservatives, by the way, live in areas that are gonna be devastated. All those conservatives down in Florida whose lives and homes and businesses are gonna be devastated over time. It's all just a big old joke, Francesca.
I mean, look, there are a few things we can look forward to in this life. But watching Mar-a-Lago be swept away in a hurricane is absolutely in the top 5 things, next to seeing my kid graduate from college, whatever. Like, those are the things that one looks forward to. And I think with climate change, you can bet your behind we are gonna see that. So he might be in office, but all of his golf courses are going bye-bye. And not only that, I mean, so what's interesting also to chart the climate change denialism on the right is that they held on to it for, I think, a good, and it still exists, but it's a decade of this is not real. We're in a moment now of cynical acceptance, which is, we do know it's real. I've seen Fox News do segments on the 6th mass extinction, which is something that we're undergoing now as a globe. And yet they talk about it well, the alternative is socialism, right? Or the alternative would mean communism because it would mean we couldn't dig up all the oil that we wanted, because green energy is doing Marxism. So you're seeing them admit that it exists, but then there's always a caveat of why it's not that bad, which Trump is there's just gonna be more beach property. Yeah. We're in that sweet spot right now. It's going to continue to change as we're glubbing underwater, and they're but we needed to learn to swim. There's always gonna be a thing.
Yeah, and by the way, this is already really dark. I don't want to get darker, but I don't know if it's the next phase after the cynical acceptance that Francesca's talking about, or if it's 2 or 3 phases away. I don't know if it's 5 years or 20 years away. But you need to understand that when they finally can't deny the storms, the wildfires, the droughts, the inability to make food, the mass migrations of people, the resource wars, do you get that that's going to be their rationale for all sorts of fascist BS?
Yeah.
Anti-immigration, hoarding resources, we can't afford to pay you, gotta scale back social services. Can women really can we give them positions when there's so few jobs left? They should really be back at home trying to grow food in the backyard. No, this is really dark, and I don't think enough people are talking about this. They're finally going to accept this and then use it, weaponize it in pursuit of fascism. That is 100% gonna happen. I do wanna remind you though, as he is joking about this along the way, sea level is already expected to rise 10 to 12 inches in the next 30 years. That's as much as it has in the past century, so that's fun. Also, we don't need to look ahead 3 decades. Right now, sequoias are at risk in Yosemite because of a wildfire that has rapidly grown to, that article says 1,600 acres. It's about 2,000 acres now, so that's fun. Oh, also a massive glacier collapsed in Kyrgyzstan, so that's fun. Hikers just barely got out of the way as this massive collapse happened. India experienced hundreds of deaths from renewed mudslides that are happening in no small part because their monsoon season, which has existed for a long time, obviously, is now being compressed into an even shorter period of time, meaning that the massive rain is falling even more condensed, and that's leading to tons of deaths. Oh, there's heat records being broken all around the world, from Italy to the Arctic. A particular province in China hit 111.6 degrees, and one city in Japan hit 104.4 degrees. Those aren't things that are supposed to happen, but it's all a joke to the conservatives here, Francesca. Isn't that fun?